know?
Shoot. Nicole usually,
Okay.
she'll tell you.
Today's meeting of the Municipal Code Enforcement Board is called to order on April 24th. Welcome, everyone. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Be seated.
Thank you, sir.
Agendas of today's meeting are on the wall at the entrance to the chambers. Please remember to turn off your cell phones. The Municipal Code Enforcement Board consists of 7 members who are appointed by the City Council, and we serve voluntarily. It is the board's intention to promote, protect, and improve the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of Clearwater by providing this equitable, effective, and inexpensive method of enforcing certain codes within the city. The board considers new business items in 2 parts. First, the violation, then affirmative relief. Formal rules of evidence do not apply. Each side is limited to 15 minutes, and the board may grant additional time. All proceedings will be conducted in a calm, civil manner. Individuals who conduct themselves otherwise will be asked to leave, and if necessary, they'll be escorted from the chambers. Now I ask all who plan to speak, please rise and be sworn in by the clerk.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth throughout your entire testimony?
Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes?
I approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone here to speak to items not on the agenda? Okay. Okay, new business items. Case 38-19. It's continued from March 27th. Find the respondents, Rutledge Family Enterprises LLC at 1137 Tangerine Street in violation of code for roof maintenance, exterior surfaces, auxiliary and appurtenances, structures, and door and windows opening, and issue an order with compliance deadline and fine if not met.
In this case, we're going to be withdrawing. We actually demoed the building about 45 minutes ago.
Okay.
So it's all in compliance now.
Okay, well, it's
So,
one way to
a
get it.
declaration?
No, it's
It,
void.
Pile of rubble that they're removing. And
It was demolished.
that's what we were looking for them to do.
Okay.
Another case continued from March 27th. Oh, wait, this one's continued to May. Continued, withdrawn. All right, case 5819. Find the respondent Lezik, Morosky, and Grasna or Orolinsky, I'm sorry, I'm butchering these, at 1246 Forest Hill Drive in violation of code for inoperable vehicle, and issue an order with compliance deadline and fine if compliance is not met.
Now look at the date.
Mr. Chairman, shouldn't we be on 4.2?
No,
It's
that was
continued to May.
To May.
Continue to May.
No, continued from March 27th?
To May.
To May.
Okay.
Yeah,
So we're on 4.3.
4.3, okay.
thank you.
No, we're on
No,
4.5.
We're on
4.5.
4.5.
Some of
Gotcha.
ours are
Right.
4.5.
the same
I'm
problem.
with you, right. Right, that one.
Okay, we're on 4.5.
Right.
Is there someone here?
We need, if no one's here, we need a motion.
Yeah, is this a declaration, sir?
It is a declaration.
It is, okay. So,
Okay.
It would really help us if you just said right away, this is a declaration, that we can all kind of move on.
yeah, then we can move in gear and work with you if we know, you know what I mean?
Okay.
If it's not a declaration and they're not here, that's an admit, and we'll do a first motion. But if it's a declaration, it just speeds up the process. So it is a declaration.
It is a declaration.
Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion. I move to find the respondent was in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit in this case. the violation was corrected prior to today's hearing, and to enter an order that no fine be imposed. If the respondent repeats the violation, the board may order a fine of up to $500 for each day the violation continues to exist.
Second, anyone?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Talking about the 839 Lincoln Avenue,
I beg your pardon?
839 Lincoln Avenue.
That's next.
No, ma'am, we're not there yet.
We're not there yet.
Okay.
Okay. Item 4.6, case 5919. Find the respondent Muhammad Faor at 839 Lantana Avenue in repeat violation of code for short-term rental, and issue an order that a daily fine be imposed for each day the repeat violation exists. Philip?
I didn't know if you wanted her to speak, I'm not sure who she is.
This is a repeat.
Uh-huh,
Yes, sir.
okay.
Is this young lady gonna speak first?
Well, I don't know exactly what's going on, but I currently live there. I have a one-year lease. My name's Patricia. My name's Patricia Jackson, and I live at 839 Lantana Avenue, so Jackson.
I'd ask the city if they're okay with her.
And I sent the lease to Miss Julie not long ago. It's a one-year lease through Mohammed, so I have no idea what's going on. I live there with my 2 children and my husband.
Okay, have a seat and we'll hear from the inspector.
Good afternoon, Board. Julie Phillips, Inspection Specialist with the City of Clearwater, and I'll be doing a presentation for 839 Lantana Avenue, case 5919. Just for clarification, I did receive a lease, which I just gave it to Mr. Fuino. This is supposed to be for a year. However, when you see my presentation, unless they're living in a separate living there for a year. There's one violation at this property. It's for an illegal short-term rental, which is a repeat violation. It violates Code Section 1-104B for a development code violation, and Code Section 3-919 for advertising prima facie evidence. Section 8102 is a definition of a residential use. A residential use means a permanent place of residence for a family. A residential use located on residentially zoned property shall not include rentals for periods of less than 31 days or 1 calendar month, whichever is less, or which is advertised or held out to the public as a place rented for periods of less than 31 days or 1 calendar month, whichever is less. A residential use located on residentially zoned property shall not include integral ownership, fractional ownership, or a time-sharing unit. This is a definition of a repeat violation. A repeat violation means a violation of a provision of a code ordinance by a person who has been previously found through a code enforcement board or any other quasi-judicial process to have violated, or who has admitted violating the same provision within 5 years prior to the violation, notwithstanding the violations occur at different locations. This is a picture of property appraiser. You can see that the owner, Muhammad, owns 937 Bruce Avenue, 839 Lantana, 843 Lantana, and 763 Mandalay Avenue, which are all short-term rentals. A notice of repeat violation was posted at the property on February 21st, 2019 and March 6, 2019. The reason for that is the first time I posted it, I thought with a repeat I could go right to the code board, but I had to go ahead and wait, so I posted it again. An affidavit of posting for today's hearing was done, on April 12, 2019. On September 30th, 2015, 937 Bruce Avenue, case 8715, was brought before the NCB and was found in violation for an illegal short-term rental located at 937 Bruce Avenue. They were given 10 days to comply, and the owner, Muhammad, did comply at that time. On May 24th, 2016, 839 Lantana, case 6816, was brought before the board for an illegal short-term rental and was fined $500 per day for 6 days, totaling $3,000 for repeat violation. That fine has not been paid. On August 25th, 2016, 843 Lantana Avenue, case 6916, was brought to the Municipal Code Board for an illegal short-term rental and was fined $500 per day for 12 days, totaling $6,000 for repeat. Again, the fine was not paid. This is the advertisement that's located on the Airbnb.com website. We're all familiar with that, and that picture was taken on February 19th, 2019. This is to show the address, 839 Lantana Avenue. You can see the availability is a one-night minimum stay, again. I tried to book the property from June 26th to the 29th for 3 days and was able to do so. Again, on the 21st, I went to the website as a repeat violation. I have to do this at least daily or every other day to show that they're continually in violation. On the 21st again, I tried to book it for one night, May 10th through the 11th, and was able to do so. This is when I went by the property on the 21st. There was tenants there from Michigan. That's when I did my first affidavit of posting, show 839 Lantana Avenue. And there's some of the tenants' vehicles. On the 22nd, I went back to the website. Again, we still have a one-night minimum stay. This time I did May 21st through the 23rd, which is 2 nights. I was able to book that as well. And just to show consistency through the calendar, I've taken multiple pictures of this calendar from February to now, and you're going to see that there's not anything that's 31 days or 1 calendar month, and as a matter of fact, towards the end of my presentation, it's so booked, I can only book till November and December. On the 27th, I went back to the website for 839 Lantana Avenue. Again, we still have a one-night minimum stay. You can see in June and July, there's not any consistency with 31 days or 1 calendar month. Again, I tried to book May 14th through the 15th, just a one-night stay, and was able to do so. I went back to post the property with an affidavit of posting on March 6th. I spoke to tenants at that day that were staying from Indiana for 10 days. Here's their license plate. March 15th, went back to the website. Tried to book it July 15th through the 16th, a one-night stay, and was able to do so. Again, on March 18th, July 30th through the 31st, one-night stay, was able to do so. The 22nd, this would be June 5th through the 7th for 2 nights. Again, the consistency in the calendar, we're still advertising one-night minimum stay, and in April and May, we do not have 31 days or 1 calendar month. On the 25th, still a one-night minimum stay, June and July, not 31 days or 1 calendar month. I tried to book the property again August 29th through the 31st. I was able to do so again. On April 1st, I went back to Airbnb, and June and July, you can still see there's not consistency with 31 days or 1 calendar month. It's still being advertised with a one-night minimum stay. This time it was booked for May 6th to the 8th, 2 days. I went back on the 11th. This time I tried to book July 14th through the 16th and was able to do so for 2 nights. Again, we still have a one-night minimum stay. The consistencies with the calendar, 31 days, 1 calendar month. On the 12th, same thing, July 14th. I was running out of places to book through the 15th, 1 night. I thought the reviews were interesting. It only shows 2 in February and 2 in January, but they're not allowing people to leave reviews because so many people are staying. That would obviously be a slam dunk. But I was able to book it again July 14th through the 15th. This was my posting for today's hearing, which was done on April 12th. At that time, there were tenants there again from Indiana, or Illinois, excuse me. This one was from Indiana on April 18th. On the 19th, I went back. I was able to book August 27th through the 29th. Consistencies with the calendars, again, there's not 31 days or one calendar month. This is August and September, where you can still see it's not 31 days or one calendar month. They have several bookings throughout this year, so it's interesting that somebody lives there full-time to me. October to November. And on the 22nd, I went back to the website. I was able to book the 26th through the 27th, which was one night. And again, we're going to go through the calendar. It still has a one-night minimum stay. June and July do not have the consistency of 31 days. The 23rd, same thing. June 5th through the 6th, one day. April and May, pretty much totally booked. July and August. September and October. And the only available months right now are November and December. And we still have it listed for a one-night minimum stay. At this time, I'll let the board deliberate. When you're finished, I do want you to know that I have a letter from a neighbor named Peter Nascarella. He would like me to read. And I also have another neighbor that would like to speak at the end of the deliberation.
I have one question.
Yes, sir.
This was brought to your attention by?
By a neighbor.
By a neighbor, thank you.
Absolutely.
Mr. Chair, we would move the letter from the neighbor into evidence that Inspector Phelps was discussing.
Okay.
Want me to read it?
Inspector, have you talked to the owner?
I have not talked to the owner. The only correspondence I had was from the young lady behind me who sent me a lease that she's been living there for a year. If you look at the very back of the document that I gave Mr. Fueno, there's not even a hand signature from the owner. As many times as I've been there, I've seen multiple cars from different states. No, I have not. This letter was sent to me yesterday by Peter Nascarella, who resides at 844 Lantana Avenue. It's kind of slanted, so forgive me if I don't read it properly, but it says Code Enforcement. I am Peter Nascarella and reside at 844 Lantana Avenue on Clearwater Beach since March of 1996. For the past 2 years or so, I have seen 839 Lantana address host, tenant after tenant on a weekly and daily basis. The noise, traffic, parking, and general activities for a residential home and neighborhood are a major distraction for tax-paying homeowners. Sincerely, Mr. Nascarella, and he went ahead and attached his driver's license to that. I also have a neighbor named Dave who is present in the back, who also lives next door to the neighboring property. When you're ready, would also like to speak.
Should we hear him now?
No one here.
It's up to Sue.
I just would like to know what the lease is.
Yeah, definitely.
Would you step back up again? Was it Jackson? It's Jackson. Do you have any explanation for?
I don't. I travel a lot for work. And when I'm away, I have no idea what goes on. So that's why I'm saying I have no idea. So
You say you live there
I do live there.
permanently?
Yes.
For how long?
I've been there since February, I think. Whatever the beginning of the lease
Do you
was.
have proof of that?
The lease that I gave her.
Yeah.
Do you find it a problem that these people are parking in your driveway?
When I'm not there, no. But when I'm there, yes. Obviously, there would be a problem. But I'm, like, again, I travel for work.
I'm assuming they're probably sleeping in your bed, and you don't find that?
Well, when I come back, everything's cleaned. So I have no idea. Like I said, I have no clue what's going on.
How long of a period of time are you gone?
I'm usually gone anywhere from 3 to 5 days, and sometimes 7, depending on the week. It just depends on what's going on. So.
And your husband and children are in the house while you're gone?
No, they travel with me.
They travel with you.
Okay, all right, please have a seat. Did you have another neighbor that would like to speak? Yes.
Yes.
Hello.
My name is Dave Ehrman, and I live immediate,
Tell your last name.
I-R-M-E-N, and I live at 833 Lantana. immediately to the right of the property. Can I was going to ask her if she's married to a guy named Kenneth. I've met before, and I was aware that, by the way, I've lived at the property for 5 years, so I've seen some of the comings and goings, and a lot of comings and goings. I've met far too many new faces next door to me, and it's very obvious to me it is not rented a month at a time. I commend you for the amount of work that you've done to lay it all out the way it is. It's very matter of fact. Kenneth might be married to the lady that just left. Kenneth told me back in January, February, I've leased it for a year. I said, okay, that's great. But over the last number of months, on a weekly basis, I've seen the Illinois and Michigan and Ohio plates and everybody else that's been there. So in my opinion, there is obviously this year lease that is going on, but that might just be shielding the bigger issue, which is the sub-rental, subletting that's going on in the midst of that. I would not complain heavily about noise. I'm right there, although there is a pool in the backyard, but I find the they're nice enough people that are there. I don't have any problem with the people that are there. They don't know. They're going onto a website and they're saying, oh, look at this, I can rent this for a few days or for a week or whatever. So that's okay, but it's a clear violation of what the rules are. I have met the owner before. I've met he and his wife and his family. The owner that I've met, his name is Salah. His brother is Muhammad. I've met the family. I've met the parents. They're nice people. They're good people. But they're not playing by the rules, and that's wrong. And to have this lady up here just do a bold-faced lie to you, the board, that she lives there and that she travels, bull. Not correct. And I think you guys see that very clearly. So I appreciate the time. If you have any questions for me.
I do. Sir, in your conversation with the owner, have they ever mentioned short-term?
No.
Nothing about the rental or anything like that?
And I know Salah better than Muhammad, but I've met Muhammad in the past.
Right. I think what I meant to say is, do you think they're aware, or?
Yes.
Well, I appreciate your honesty.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you.
I also find it interesting in the presentation, you know, because I was curious, what kind of fines are imposed for these things? And it was a daily fee of, I think I heard $500 a day. But I also noticed in the presentation, a number of those fines have not been paid. So it's clearly on us, the community, to do something about it and to enforce, or this will just continue.
Have you talked with any of the people staying there?
Yes.
And have they related to you they're there for a few days?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I've had renters knock on my door and say, hey, I'm having a little trouble with the pool. Do you know who I should call? Or I don't have clean sheets and I don't have utensils in here. Doesn't seem to be ready. So, well, it's not my issue, but it's interesting to know.
Well, the lady before you had to leave in a rush, so she didn't have a chance to clean up apparently. So.
Have you seen her living there with her children?
I have met Kenneth. I never met the wife, so that might have been her. And there are 2 kids. But my opinion is they're there. They kind of get things cleaned up and ready. And then the next families check in.
No evidence of children living there, toys, clothes, anything? That somebody's.
Well, not that I
have
see. I mean, it's a
anything
fenced backyard, so I'm tall, but I don't snoop.
In your opinion, would you think this young lady that left is the one doing the cleaning up?
No, there's another lady that definitely was not her that is in charge of cleaning the property. It's a different person,
Different, okay.
for sure.
Yes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So just a clarifying question, just to clarify your testimony today. Is it your testimony that between February 19th of this year and today, individuals have rented the property that we're talking about for what we call less than 31 days on a short-term basis? Is that what you're testifying to?
Yes.
Okay.
And the renters there would confirm it with me. I'd say, how'd you find out about this place? And they would say it was Home Away, or it was Airbnb, or whatever. And I did my own looking online just to see if I could find it, and I could find it too.
And is your testimony that the gentle lady who just testified, who apparently has now left, is only there for days at a time to clean up the property?
I've seen and I hear some activity in the pool sometimes on the weekend, and I know that Kenneth is there. Kenneth I know, and I would call him the property caretaker, who's probably listed on that one-year lease. Is there a Kenneth listed on the lease? Okay.
And does he live there full-time? Okay.
In my opinion, no. He's in
As far as you know.
he's in the area somewhere, and he drives a vehicle with Florida plates, but that's all I know.
So the lease appears to be a sham.
Well, the lease, I don't know. The
Right.
lease is a lease,
Right.
but he's working within the system.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Well,
Thank you, sir.
Let's see what the city has.
There was one other piece of information that I got later, was not added to my PowerPoint, so I'll give it to Amy for evidence, and if you would like to share, it's what we call calls for service, and when we get complaints from neighbors about properties, we can email our local police department and ask them if it calls for service. So if you'll take your eyes to the top, from January 14th, the police were called out for noise. On March 3rd, they were called out for noise. On March 11th, they were called out for noise. On March 12th, they were called out for noise. March 15th and April 7th, they were called out for noise. It's obviously a nuisance property when the neighbors have to continually call because there's so much noise, because people partying and having a good time, when there's also taxpayers with families trying to get a good night's sleep and get up in the morning.
I'm allowed to speak on this as I live at a number of 754, and this is 839, and on occasion you could hear them. A group of young guys having a good time.
And they're a street over.
Yeah, so. You make a first motion?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
I move to find the respondent was in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit in this case and has committed a repeat violation.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
What's the city seeking?
What are you seeking?
My recommendation for a repeat violation for case 5919, there's one violation for an illegal short-term rental. I'm requesting $500 per day for the following dates, from February 19th, 2019 through April 23rd, 2019, totaling 63 days, which would be $31,500.
31.
I'll make a second motion.
Okay,
I move to enter an order that a fine of $500 per day be imposed for the 63 days the repeat violation existed, for a total fine of $31,500 payable within, what's our norm on that, 30?
45, 30?
30 days. If fines and fees remain unpaid 3 months after such lien is filed, the city is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien. If the respondent repeats the violation, the board may order a fine up to $500 for each day the violation continues to exist.
Second?
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Would this be in addition to the previous fines too? Will those come into play?
Well, I have a question.
Different addresses.
Yeah.
It's up to the city to decide if they want to do
So it's still just, it's still ticking.
That's the question. We have all these previous,
against the property.
Right.
Madam Chair, all these other fines, I'm curious why the city hasn't pursued this. And this is why. They've got, what, like $12,000 in fines outstanding that they haven't paid, well over 3 months. And if maybe the city had implemented putting liens on the property and all that, some of this wouldn't have occurred.
Well, the lien is there. As soon as it's recorded, it becomes a lien.
Oh, so it is, the lien has been applied to the property. Okay, thank you.
Just a matter of do you foreclose it or not.
Well, maybe that might help them a little bit, at least if nothing else, pay the lien.
I just have one question, Andy, if I may. The $500, is that set by the city or the state?
No, that's the statute, that's the maximum you can.
By the state?
Yeah.
Even for a repeat? I mean, it came in as a repeat and it's going out as a repeat.
A repeat.
The two things about a repeat violation is, one, you can fine people for a past act before they come to you, and two, the maximum is $500 per day,
Gotcha.
for each violation.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Doesn't do much to stop you from doing it though.
Moving on. Okay, case 6019.
Madam Chairman, I'm
Yes.
sorry to interrupt you, but I have a question because this just took a minute to sit in. This isn't going to be over with quickly, this case we've just
No,
talked about.
no.
There are people out there all over the country who made reservations to stay in a beach house on beautiful Clearwater Beach who are going to be in for quite a shock or surprise, or how is that is there any comeback they have?
She's right. You showed a calendar to a later part of this year.
I believe they're completely booked until the end of October. November
Right.
and December are the only available months.
Right.
I mean, we can't go lock up that building, so
No.
I can't do that. But I can bring them back for repeat violation again.
It's just a merry-go-round.
And you know, Sheila, he may still rent them to him, rent the house to him.
No, I'm sure he will.
No, you're right. You're exactly right.
it's going to pay that fine.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. 6019. Fine respondents Patricia P. Tarot at 2016 Little Neck Road in violation of code for public health, safety, and welfare nuisance, and issue an order with the compliance deadline and fine if compliance is not met.
Her son-in-law is here. Unfortunately, she has some health issues, so he came to represent her.
Okay. Please state your name and
Michael Hintz, H-I-N-T-Z,
H-I-N.
T-Z, T-Z, H-I-N-T-Z. Yep.
is that all right to have
How's
him?
the son? I'm sorry.
Son-in-law, my wife's mother.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, she has been ill. She didn't really tell us about these violations, until recently. But I'm sure like a lot of this code compliant problem has been money, but she has acquired some money. So I've spent about $8,000 in her backyard so far, cleaning out the pool. A fence, I got a permit yesterday. We're gonna put a fence up May 2nd. So everything should be cleared up here in the next month. Talked to Stephen. He's seen what has occurred, and we should have a nice, clean-looking house here shortly.
Do you admit or deny the allegations in this complaint?
Oh, I admit that it had some, yes, the
Okay,
pool
but
was
you're
green.
working on it.
We pulled everything out of there but an alligator, frogs, turtles. It is nice and clean, and the fence blew over with Hurricane Irma. She went to FEMA to see if she could get help. Home insurance, FEMA didn't help her out. So, I mean, she didn't have the money. We're trying to get her to move out of that house, get a smaller place. You know how some people are locked into their memories of the house. So it's gonna look nice. Shortly.
First motion?
Yeah.
Okay. I move to find and respond in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit in this case.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. City?
Sure, why don't you have a seat in the front row?
Oh.
We'll call you back.
Forget about the admit and deny.
How are you today? I'm Stephen Del Volpe, Inspector with City Clearwater, Code Compliance, and I'm here regarding case 6019. That's at 2016 Little Neck Road. We're going to our recommendation on this case. Again, it's for one violation, unmaintained swimming pool. Requesting compliance on or before the 24th of May of 2019, or a fine of $150 per day for each day the violation continues to exist. We are asking the board to authorize the following. After 3 months from the recordation date of such lien, if the fines and fees remain unpaid, the city attorney's office is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien using any legal or equitable remedies available under the law. Compliance can be met for an unmaintained swimming pool by cleaning the pool so the water is clear and maintaining it on a regular basis, as well as securing for public safety and health and welfare. Here's a picture from 8/28 of 2018. As you can see, the pool is in some rough shape. It's quite dirty. That was about, from what I was able to tell, at least 6 to 8 inches deep of, it looked like grass, to be honest. Again, from 11/27/2018, same thing. 3/7 of this year. And this is what I saw on the 22nd of this month. They have made tremendous progress. He's even taking care of some stuff that I didn't even address because it wasn't a violation, but it was maybe not so pretty. But they're doing a great job. From what I understand, I believe he got a pump put in already for the pool. And like he said, he already has the permit for the fence, so just, that'll be it.
Okay.
So, if they require more time, does the city have a problem with that?
I don't see a problem with that, no.
Okay. Then we need to find out if he needs more time.
Okay. Do you need any more time than May 24th to get?
May 24th, yeah, fence will be up May 2nd, pool will be filled in, running, maintained.
Good job.
That should
Just
do it.
keep the inspector informed.
I will, I got his card right there, right available.
Okay.
You can take a swim in the pool.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'll make a second motion.
30 days?
Are we ready?
30 days.
Okay.
Are you done?
I'm done, sir, yes.
Okay, thank you. I move to enter an order requiring the respondent to correct the violations on or before, the city said May 24th, 2019.
Yes.
If the respondent does not comply by that date, the board may order a fine of $150 per day per violation for each day the violation continues to exist. If fines and fees remain unpaid 3 months after such lien is filed, the city is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Good job.
Good job.
Thank you, sir. Have a good day. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, the next one's yours too, isn't it?
Correct, and this is actually a declaration of violation that has been corrected.
Okay. All right.
Declaration, page 2.
I move to find the respondent was in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit in this case. The violation was corrected prior to today's hearing, and to enter an order that no fine be imposed. If the respondent repeats the violation, the board may order a fine of up to $500 for each day the violation continues to exist.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. This is continued. Okay. Case number 6519. Fine respondents Lansing and Diane Beechner at 1850 Green Hill Drive in violation of code for permits, and issue an order with the compliance deadline and fine if compliance is not met.
Mr. Swinton, they're not here?
I don't see them. Oh, yes, he is here.
Shall I have him come up?
Yeah, that way.
Come on up.
State his name. Ask him if he admits or denies it.
Would you say your name, please?
Lansing Beechner.
Do you admit or deny?
I'm sorry?
Do you admit or deny?
No, the code is obviously in arrears, but I bought the house a year ago. New roof had to be put onto it before I bought it.
So you deny, sir?
Am I what?
You're
Admit.
admitting?
Or deny?
Well, I know he didn't get a permit. I mean, how can I deny it? He ordered a permit, and he never closed the permit, hence the problem.
Okay.
So,
So it's an admit.
yeah, so I paid for half of it, the previous owner paid for half of it. The roof was put on, he closed, and I never checked to see if the permit was closed. He did open one, matter of fact, but he never did anything with it, so it's just sitting there. So then I found out by the inspector that I was in violation, okay? So then I go down and see him, I can't get a hold of the contractor, he won't return my calls. I emailed him, and no response. Did again, and right after I got the violation, no response. So the inspector told me, well, you should file a complaint with the contractor, with the state and the county, which I did. I have not heard anything back about the results from the county. However, from the state board, I received a message that they had passed it on to an inspector in Tampa. I have not heard from that inspector from Tampa as of yet.
Okay, sir?
Yes?
Mr. Beechner, if you'll have a seat there, let's see what our inspector has to say.
I'll make a first motion.
I don't know what the issue is. Okay, go ahead.
I move to find a respondent in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit in this case.
Is there a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I want to say good afternoon to the board. I'm Inspector Swinton, Housing Inspector. This is case 6519. And I'm just going to move right down to our recommendation. Recommendation for case 6519 is work without a permit. We're requesting compliance to be on or before May 22nd of 2019, or a fine of $150 per day per violation for each day the violation continues to exist. We are also asking that the board authorize the following. After 3 months from the registration date of such lien, if the fines and fees remain unpaid, the city attorney's office is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such liens using any legal or equitable remedies available under the law. And I'm just going to give you a quick picture. This picture was a Google picture taken back in May of 2014. And this is what it looks like today.
Very nice.
There was a permit that was actually applied for in February of 2018, but that permit was voided in 2018 also, so.
Who voided it?
Contractor,
Okay. So he took it out and then said, I don't want it.
yes.
Thank you.
So how can the owner resolve it?
For compliance, they can be met with obtaining a permit and also scheduling all the required inspections.
So, Mr. Swinton,
Yes, sir.
the contractor pulled the permit, did the job, but gave up on
There was
the
no
permit.
closure?
No, he applied for the permit was never issued.
Oh, gotcha, okay.
Then
But he did the job,
The job was done,
so
yes.
he did the job without a permit.
Yes, correct.
Why, have you found out in your investigation why the permit wasn't issued by the city?
I did not.
Okay.
What,
I can tell you.
Me too. Don't we want to hear?
would you like to step up?
The reason he didn't open the permit, in my opinion, was his total intention from the beginning. However, he opened the permit, filed for permit which I have a copy of, and obviously this gentleman does too. And the reason why it was pulled, and the last I knew on the permit, it says he applied for the permit and did nothing after that, meaning tell him what kind of shingles were going on there to meet code, la-di-da-di-da, throughout the job. No inspectors were there, obviously, so it didn't get done. So he just opened it, job was done, he pulled it out.
Did you pay him?
I'm sorry?
Did you pay him? Pay him. Did you pay the roofer?
It was paid at the closing. The previous owner paid half of $7,500, and I paid half. So we both paid for this thing. He got his roof on, and now I'm screwed.
How does he remedy
Oh, you're
it?
shedding more light into it. I get you. How did it close? I mean, didn't they send out an inspector of their own to, you know, how would you,
Well, I know a little bit about roofing and opening permits, okay? So I know what the procedure is, you know. I mean, I got a copy of the printout right off your...
It looks like they did a good job. It's just the legal part of it.
Yeah, exactly. I think he did it. I've never had a freaking problem.
So the previous owner sold you the house. He had the roof put on.
Correct.
And the city's coming after you.
Correct.
Huh.
Well, they both paid for it.
Oh, that's strange.
Ain't strange.
It's like
I've
buying
heard
a
that
property
happen
with a lien
before.
Yeah, I'm surprised your bank, or how did you finance or did you just?
No, I financed it, yes. Yes.
I tell my wife not to call me.
Did you look at the contractor's license?
No, but I got his number, hence why I filed with the state.
Chances are he doesn't have a license.
Yeah, all I want him to do is finish the permit. I just paid tons of money for this house, and now you want me to pay you, plus go get another roofer to tear it off and put another back one on, when it's not my
Okay.
fault.
Well,
Mr. Swinton, is
Can I-
that the only remedy? To remove the roof?
Well, you know, if the state or the county does something, okay, about this, it's clearly a violation, you know, what he did, illegal. That's what I was hoping for. All I wanted to do is to close the permit. That's why I filed a complaint with the county board and the state board. So they're looking into it. So what I want to happen is him to close the permit down and do it, but I don't want to spend another $8,000 putting a roof on it.
Oh, I'm with you.
You know, because until at least goes through the freaking progress, and maybe he's
There's
gonna...
supposed to be a few safeguards along the way, like you bought the house from the fellow that sold it to you, and he had the roof put on. Well, the bank that you borrowed the money from, they're kind of supposed to protect you a little bit. I mean, they would have their inspector go out and look at the house.
You're
They
right.
see a new roof.
Yeah.
And
But all they wanted to see actually is the only thing I gave them was the bill of sale. I mean, the contract, it's a one-page contract.
Right.
Once, and he signed up, that it was done. Okay, my home inspector that I had doing a house, he's a licensed home inspector. He's the one that brought it to my attention even before this gentleman notified me of the violation. He says, they never closed the permit, you better get a hold of them. I did. This is right after I got it moved into the house. So I did, and again, he didn't get a hold of me. But anyway, so that's where I am in this progress, okay?
okay, so do you think you're gonna get out of this gentleman what you need for him to do?
Well, that's what
in 3 weeks? I mean, here's
Sir,
what I'm,
no, see,
what I'm hearing here is, he's got a problem, he knows how to get it solved, but it's not gonna happen in 3 weeks.
No.
This is a bad situation, and he didn't do anything in bad faith, he just got screwed. But we have rules and regulations that we have to uphold. I just think he needs more time to try to get this thing done. And hopefully help from the county and the state in pursuing it.
Yeah, like I said, at least I got some response to the state. They must think there's something to it, because I obviously filed everything I have with both complaints. And at least now the state is sending it down here to Tampa for investigation. Again, I've already mentioned.
Can the city, excuse me, sir. Can the city inspect it and say it's okay and close it?
Yes, we could, however,
Identify yourself for the record, please.
yes, my name is Dana Root. I'm the Assistant Billing Official for the City of Clearwater. We could, however, we would require in-progress pictures of the roofing that was done. We would, if the permit was issued on a regular basis and they scheduled a roof in progress, we would look at the roof in progress at a certain point, whether it be the tear off, the dry in, or, you know, the nailing of the deck, or the actual shingling, and then we would look at the finished product. But at the final, we would require roof in progress pictures that would have to show each roof plane of the sheathing and the dry in, or your base sheet for your flat roofs. If you could provide that, which is doubtful, then we could possibly look at it. Another option would be to have a inspection done by a engineer or architect that's licensed in the state of Florida.
That would make sense.
And an option would be, if he owns the home and is in his name, he could pull a permit as an owner-builder, require the services of a architect or engineer to inspect the roof.
And if it passed that inspection?
It passes.
Do you understand that,
Permit's
sir?
closed out.
What you just said? That option 2 sounded pretty good.
Yeah,
It's still gonna cost you.
right. However,
Yeah, a lot less.
well, if I went and did, obviously I have no idea what that would cost me at this time.
Right.
So why don't we, I would make
Give
a
time.
motion that we give him 90 days to get this thing resolved, and if you can't do that, then you need to talk to the city and see what your next options are, probably what you just heard.
That work for you?
Yes, that'll work fine. And,
Keep in touch with your inspector.
yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry for the situation you're in. That's,
Well, it's unfortunate, and I understand the rules and laws, so I get it. However, this is, I think, a little awkward, meaning that I've already paid half the roof, and now I'm getting fined.
Catch 22.
Possible fine.
I like what Mr. Pratt said. You didn't do anything in bad faith.
No.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, because I appreciate the time, because I'm hoping the state and/or the county is gonna move on it. They both told me at the time when I filed, it's gonna be a long time. I filed in 1st of March, and I've only got one communication from the state board, so.
Sir, may I recommend your next job that you have done on your home? That when you hire a contractor, you check him out and make sure that he posts that permit for the work to be done.
Right.
And you won't have to go through this again.
Well,
The
unfortunately,
previous owner that
Yeah,
did it.
he bought the
the
house.
previous owner did it.
Yeah.
I mean,
He didn't have a contract.
you know, the permit that he filed is in the previous owners, which was right, but I couldn't get insurance or nothing unless I put a new roof on it. So I told the guy to replace the roof. He asked me for half the amount, and I did, and it was all done at the
Well, that's
closing.
my point. See,
Sounds like it was
he had
done
the
in
work
good
done
faith.
afterwards, not before.
We're ready to
And
go.
you didn't see any copies of that permit, even though he said he filed for it. He never showed you one. I'm an
I
expert
had,
too,
I
I know
had
how
the,
it works.
I had the copy of it. He filed.
Yeah, but you didn't actually see the permit itself.
All right.
That's what I'm saying.
You
Yeah.
want to take make
There
a
was
second
no,
motion?
there was
Make
no,
a second. Yeah, okay.
they filed for it and then dumped it, so.
Yeah,
There was
I
nothing,
understand.
there was nothing to see. And the new owner, the previous owners were still in the house. So I honestly didn't feel the need to go and look in his windows to see if the permit is there.
Well, it's supposed to be posted. He should have showed it.
Oh, I know that.
I think someone's gonna make a motion now, so.
Yeah, I'll make a second motion. I move to enter an order requiring the respondent to correct the violation on or before, I got August 22nd, 2019. Is that where we're at?
Yep.
That'll work.
Okay. If the respondent does not comply by that date, the board may order a fine of $150 per day per violation for each day the violation continues to exist. If fines and fees remain unpaid 3 months after such lien is filed, the city is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien.
Second.
What was the date on that? How many days?
August, you said?
We gave 90 days,
August 22nd.
August 22nd, 2019.
August 22nd.
90 days a week.
I know. April, no, wait a minute. I'm wrong. This is April, so.
Thank you.
May, June, July 22nd.
There you
Okay.
go.
All
Sorry about
right,
that.
there you have it.
I was just hoping for more time.
Sorry, getting ahead of myself.
That's why I asked.
Okay, so, you know, you're not being penalized there. You hit this complied, you're good.
All right.
I like what he said. on that second one, that second option, if you can hire an engineer roofing that would come out there and say, hey, yeah, it's okay, and then you pull a permit as owner, am I correct?
Correct.
What I'm saying?
Okay.
Please turn off
Okay.
your cell phones.
Do I have a second?
Yeah, we did second.
Did you
Yeah,
second?
no,
All in
we're
favor?
good.
We're good?
Yes, sir, and you got Mr. Swinton's phone number,
Yes.
okay?
Okay.
We never
Thank
did.
you.
We never voted on it.
Yeah, we did.
Well, we didn't. Well, we were paying attention to her phone going off.
Did we vote on it?
Yeah.
Well,
No.
you're right.
No, you
yeah.
didn't. No, you didn't get
All in
everybody's vote.
favor?
Well, we got a
Alright,
second.
Let's re-vote it.
Say all in
Okay.
favor.
All
Just say
favor?
all in favor, Sue.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
And I apologize, why isn't my phone charged?
That's okay, mine went off too.
Okay. Case number 6919, find respondents Calora U.S. Real Estate 1 LLC at 1256 Woodlawn Terrace in violation code for permits and issue an order with a compliance deadline and fine if compliance is not met. Mr. Swinton? Is there anyone here for this case?
Real,
Everybody asleep?
4.12, 6919.
Where's Mr. Swinton?
We're on 4.13, is that where we're at?
4.12.
1-2.
1, 2, oh.
There you go.
Woodlawn.
We're on your 4.12.
Mr. Swinton, is this a declaration?
No.
No.
Okay, well,
I'll
that's,
make a first motion on an admit, if I may.
Go ahead.
I move to find the respondent in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit in this case.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay?
I apologize to the board, I didn't get the updated agenda, so I
That's
didn't see
okay.
that one. This is an overview of the map where this property is located at 1256 Woodline. This is actually just north of Union Street. There's one violation, and it's an installed wooden fence, section 4-203.A.1, and also section 47.083, subsection 2. Notice of violation was sent out on February the 5th, 2019. Compliance date was February the 19th of 2019, and I received a certified mail receipt back on February the 9th of 2019. Notice of hearing was sent out on March 5th, 2019. Certified mail was returned unsigned on March 29, 19, and I posted the notice of hearing on April the 2nd, 2019. This is the Google map taken back in January of 2019. As you can see, the property at that time had no new fence. This is another area, a picture of that.
it must be contagious.
It's my wife, I don't know what, put it on silent.
Put it on
We're
silent.
gonna have you
I thought I turned
removed.
it off. Silent.
Turn it off.
I did. I thought I did.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
This is a part of the fence, new fence section on the, this will be the east side of the, west side of the home. And this will be on the east side of the home. If you happen to see a permit on that white fence, that is not for the fence, that is actually for the renovation of the home. Some more pictures here. This is the affidavit of posting that I put on April the 4th. This is what the home
nice.
looks like today. And your deliberation.
Have you discussed this with the owner?
I have not heard from the owner concerning the fence. They did respond when I sent the notice, stop work order for the renovation. They got the permits for that, but have not gotten the permits for the fence.
Okay.
A recommendation for this case is one violation. We're requesting that the compliance be on by May 22nd, 2019, or a fine of $150 per day per violation for each day the violation continues to exist. We're also asking that the board authorize the following: after 3 months from the recordation date of such lien, if the fines and fees remain unpaid, the city attorney's office is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien using any legal or equitable remedies available under the law.
Once again, how do they resolve it? Okay, do I have a second motion?
I move to enter an order requiring the respondent to correct the violations on or before May 22nd, 2019. If the respondent does not comply by that date, the board may order a fine of $150 per day per violation for each day each violation continues to exist. If fines and fees remain unpaid 3 months after such lien is filed, the city is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Case 70-19, fine respondent Sweet Dreams Irrevocable Trust at 603 Cedar Street in violation of code for permit and issue an order with the compliance deadline and fine if compliance is not met. Is someone here for that case?
The owner is.
Okay. Ms. Espinosa? Let me ask her something, okay? Come on out. Please state your name for the record.
I'm Cheryl Trueblood.
And you live there?
I bought the house with my son, Julius Cooney.
I'm sorry, Cheryl, is it with a C or a?
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm sorry, your last name?
Trueblood. Trueblood.
And you're the mother of the owner?
Yes, I'm not.
And he's the owner?
Well, I bought it for my son, Julius, for him to live there.
Do you admit or deny?
Admit.
You admit. Okay. If you'll just have a seat, we'll
I'll
go
make a
on from there.
motion. I move to find the respondent in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit in this case.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay.
Sorry, we went with you. You lost it, yes.
All we need is a recommendation.
Yes. It's on. All right. I'll read it from my list here.
Okay.
Of Elma.
What's that?
Oh, my computer went off.
Huh?
It's not working.
No, that wasn't it.
We have no pictures there, but the computers went blank.
Oh, your screen was on.
The screens went blank.
I'll
They go up there and that blip. You heard that blip and they went off. There you go.
Yeah, you don't need it anyway. You got this.
I got paper. It's
Yeah,
fine.
I don't use mine.
Try it again.
Here it comes, it's coming.
It's up. Good.
My 3-year-old grandson.
Thank you.
You fix it in no time. Yeah, I know that one.
Go on right to recommendation. Okay, so, oh, sorry, I forgot to put the case number there for, the city is recommending a fine of $150 per day per violation after 3 months from the date of recordation date of such lien. If the fines and fees remain unpaid, the city attorney's office is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien using any legal or equitable remedies available under the law.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to find out what the permit's for.
No,
I've seen no pictures or anything.
you want to see photographs? Okay.
A permit. That's all it says.
And this is on Cedar Street, which is just west of North Myrtle and just east of North Garden. This is a photograph of the house when I got it. This
We received this from Code Compliance, Inspector Gregory Dixon, that's his area, and he let us know that this was going on. The house was being jacked up. And as you can see, it's on pilings.
We're not sure of the extent of the work, but there's extensive structural work being done to the building. We would just like a permit applied for all of the work.
Have permits been issued for any of it?
It has not.
No.
So activity's been taking place with no permits?
Correct.
Okay.
As you can see, this is plywood on top of the old flooring, and that arrow is pointing to a hole on the original flooring. You can see the ground. That's plywood up against the windows. The windows are new. There's new doors. Again, right here, this is new. This is the old. You can see this board continues all the way to the back. They were putting siding. I found this today. That was in there when I went out.
Somebody's doing work on it.
Compliance by.
May 24th. I'll leave it up to you, to the board.
Were you looking for them is to obtain a permit by the 24th?
They would have to come in with plans signed and sealed.
They would have to obtain the permit by the 24th.
Right.
Get the permit, yeah.
Okay.
You would have to come in, somebody has to come in and apply for a permit by May 24th.
Do you have plans to repair the property? Yes? Okay, you need to apply for the permits.
Hey, can you come closer, please?
I'll do that tomorrow. I don't have no plans on selling it. I'm willing to walk that house for me to stay in. I don't have no plans on selling it. I'll get a contractor tomorrow for the permits. I can stay in.
Mom bought the house, you're fixing it up to stay in there.
I'm not going to sell it or anything, just stay in there.
You want a second
That
motion?
doesn't have anything to do with it. The thing is that you're doing, I mean, it's obvious the place needs some work.
She bought the house.
Okay, so
I played like 3 months back.
I gotcha.
And they were the same one, Home Depot.
Was this a house that was moved?
And then
Moved.
black scrimmage down the back, I just put it up there because of the hole in on the side. You can't see it.
Do I have a second motion?
Did we do it first?
We did.
Yeah.
May I say something?
Yes.
Compliance would be a permit is issued, the permit is active, not submitting an application.
Right, there's nothing wrong with electric. When I bought the house, a brand new electric, like a new roof on there, there's nothing wrong with plumbing.
So that's not it. The improvements that you need to do and you want to do require a permit. And what you have to have is that permit issued to you by the 24th. So if you ask for it on the 24th, you haven't made it, you're late. Because they have to review it and I'm pretty sure they're not fast. So get it going soon is to your advantage.
Just so the board knows, this property is in a trust, so they cannot use the exemption for the owner-builder as a contractor. So he's going to get a licensed residential building or general contractor.
Is that right? Because it's in a trust, he can't
Correct.
pull it in his name.
Correct.
Are you aware of that, sir?
Yes, sir.
You have a lot of complications, and so the sooner you move on.
I didn't know that either.
She already told me that.
Thank you.
Can I ask you a question? Was this house moved there? No,
Been there for my grandmother stays in front. She's been there for like 50 years.
I just saw the pilings underneath. It looked like somebody's,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Second motion?
Okay. I move to enter an order requiring the respondent to correct the violations on or before May 24th, 2019. If the respondent does not comply by that date, the board may order a fine of $150 per day per violation for each day each violation continues to exist. If fines and fees remain unpaid 3 months after such lien is filed, the city is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, thank you, sir.
Good luck.
Unfinished business. We don't have any affidavits of compliance. Is there anyone here to speak to affidavits of non-compliance?
There's a gentleman back there.
Back here.
Where's Covey?
Would you come forward? Which one is he?
That's unfinished business.
That's Belcher Avenue.
Okay.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Hush Gavahi
Okay.
with Northside Engineering, and I think I'm here on the
Case
first-
16718.
Sorry.
Go ahead. Belcher Road?
Yes.
Okay.
So just wanted to let the board know that we have the BTR now.
Well, when did you get the BTR?
When?
When did you get the
Just
BTR?
recently.
April 11th?
Yes.
Okay, and you had until February 28th to comply?
Yes.
Okay. So there was a 40-day gap where you didn't have it.
That's correct.
I think
When did you get it?
11th of April, we got the BTR.
So, Madam Chair, I would say that the fine, which was $150, I think, $150 a day, would run for 40 days, which is from March 1st, which would be the first violation day, until April 10th.
6,000.
Is there any opportunity to describe and discuss the reason?
If I recall correctly, this was last year we had this case, and there were some parking issues and then the BTR. So when was this, like in the early fall, we heard this case?
Yes, sir. If I remember correctly, we actually gave him 90 days to
Yeah.
get the BTR. So he didn't get the BTR for 120 days or 110
Okay.
days or something.
So my only thoughts on this is that, if I remember correctly, you are an architect?
We have an engineering company.
Engineering company. So you're familiar with getting permits, dealing with government agencies to get permits and stuff
That
like that?
part of it, yes.
So.
Planting, no.
So anyway, I can't understand what the difficulty would have been in obtaining your BTR.
Well, we had hired somebody to do the planting, and they bought the trees and put them in, but then the inspector comes and says, no, this doesn't meet code, it needs to have a certain, we know that the caliper or
But you don't
deviation.
need a BTR to plant a palm tree.
Yes, you do.
You do?
Yeah, that was a condition of the BTR.
That you, yeah.
That was a condition. So we, and then the nursery wouldn't take it back, so we left them there. We said, okay, let's leave this planted, let's go get new trees. So we have over an abundant number of trees, but finally it was approved by the staff and we were able to obtain the BTR. But it was a pretty big education for yours truly. Yes, we have obtained permits for many, many years.
But I would remind the board that that was all litigated at the prior hearing, which is why you got 90 days in the first instance.
Which was pretty long time for a BTR.
Yeah, I remember.
Okay.
But, and that was also at the city's acquiescence, because we had agreed to an extent. I think initially we said 30 days or something like that, and then the gentleman said what he said, so we agreed to 90 days, and here we are.
Trust me,
You've been very
I
nice.
remember that meeting very well, because people sitting in the back came forward, and then they went back, and then it was worked out. So anyway, I think the city bent over quite
Yes,
well.
no question about it. It was my issues and,
Mr.
Can I have a
Salzberg,
motion?
should we vote on non-compliance and then later on the lien reduction?
It's not up before you as a lien reduction.
Then we shouldn't, I don't think we should address it.
For you to make any decision, it's not noticed that way. You need to make a decision as to whether or not you're going to accept, if the city's still presenting it to you, an affidavit of non-compliance for the time period that they're talking about, or whether or not the city's gonna do something different. That I don't know, but that's the only issue that's before.
So we have to decide whether or not he has not been in compliance. And apparently,
And he
since it
hasn't
was
been.
after that date, he wasn't. Okay.
Okay, can I have a
I'll give it to the
motion?
inspector. See what she has to say. Who's the
Inspector?
inspector on that? Inspector Knight.
Night. He's not here.
He's not here.
Inspector Danny Knight is not here. I do have the presentation, but it was in non-compliance. He is in compliance now.
He is now.
Is now, as of the 11th.
Yeah, but he wasn't in the time frame that he was,
Right.
so he's been in non-compliance.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I think it just, personally, I think it should just stay as he has not complied.
Okay,
And,
that's fine. Can I
anything
have a
else can be
motion?
followed up with additional contact with the city and see what you can work out with them.
I need a motion.
I'd make a motion, but I'm not sure.
Well, I think maybe he can fall in with all these others at the same time now. These are all non-compliant.
It would be accepting the affidavit of non-compliance, and then the time periods will be adjusted, and then it will have an opportunity to come before you to ask for a fine.
Okay.
Andy, can we do these all in one sweep, or just?
No, we do each
Okay.
one. If there's somebody here, we do each one.
Okay, I'll make a motion on this one then.
Okay.
Okay, I move to accept the affidavit of non-compliance and issue an order that states that fines and fees remain unpaid 3 months after such lien is filed. The city is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
And Madam Chair, before you go further, the city would withdraw 5.4, the affidavit of non-compliance.
Okay.
For case 16418.
Okay.
Go to this page right here. This will help you. See this?
Is there anyone to speak to the other two affidavits of non-compliance? No. Okay.
Okay, I'll make a motion.
There are people here. Are you doing 901 first?
5.2 is next.
Well, nobody is, anybody,
Okay.
What are we doing?
Hey, they're not here. There
Nobody's
is
here?
someone here for 1412 North Fort Harrison.
I'll do 5.2 next, and then we'll go to the next one, okay? I move to accept an affidavit of non-compliance and issue an order that states that fines and fees remain unpaid 3 months after such lien is filed. The city is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Motion carries.
That leaves 5.3.
Yeah. Now, case 5.3. 180-18. Did you say there's someone here for that?
For 1412 North Fort Harrison?
Correct.
Yes.
Long time no see. How you guys doing today?
We're fine.
Beautiful day outside.
Beautiful.
Identify yourself for the record.
I'm Zahid Roy, on 1412 North Fort Harrison Avenue, my homesteaded property.
That's right, that's the house.
So are you in compliance, sir, or?
Pardon?
You're here for non-compliance?
Miss Phillips don't communicate. I'd reach out personally to her. I don't know what she wants, but I went one end to another to pressure wash, they painted, doing the new trim paints and everything else. So if she explained me what exactly she wants me to do, I may get to that point. It's a 5-day original violation for 5 days violation. I've been working on it for 6 months, and I couldn't comply with this. Obviously, I'm working on the wrong area.
Okay. If you'll have a seat, we'll talk to Ms. Phillips.
Yes, we are.
Good afternoon again, Board. Julie Phillips, Inspection Specialist for the City of Clearwater. This case came before you, 1412 North Fort Harrison, in January. It was for exterior surfaces and a commercial single-wide trailer that was parked on the side of the property. That trailer had been removed and an affidavit of compliance was submitted. The only thing that's outstanding is the exterior surfaces. So I'm going to go ahead and show you some pictures of what it looked like previously and what it looks like now. It has made significant changes, but unfortunately it's not completed, so I cannot submit an affidavit of compliance until that is completed. Well, that didn't cooperate very well, so forgive me. This was in June 19th when I first put my eyes on this property. I'm sorry, it was actually doors and windows as well. He is in compliance with all the doors and windows. The one under the stairwell I thought was in still violation. We talked about the last hearing. It was fine. We're good with that. This is what the exterior surfaces had looked like. If I'm going too fast, please let me know. The property started to get painted with a light green color. It looks much, much better. It looks better with all the boards off the windows. It's been painted. Sorry, let me go back to these pictures. The front, you can see the front looks fantastic. It's been painted around the door frames, etc. The steps weren't done, but that's okay. This is the north side of the building. You can still, it's still not completed in the fascia and the soffit, and it looks like something was repaired on the south side of the wall, which is also still not in compliance. I pulled in the neighboring property just to the north because I like to always have my truck centered to get out, because you know on Fort Harrison there's not anywhere to really park into the center of the road. So when I made that U-turn, absolutely nothing has been done in the back of the property. It hasn't been painted, nothing around the windows has been done. So once that's completed, he'll be in compliance. That's all I have.
Okay. Any doubt on what needs to be done?
This is the back end of the property. It's been pressure washed. All your marks, you could see that is with the pressure wash, okay? It has not been painted, okay? The original violation was actually on the front, not on the back, right? Correct? You couldn't see the original violation in the back of the property, right? But I am maintaining my property a lot more than you expected to be what the original violation was, right or wrong?
Sir, address us.
So if I am fixing my property, but if this is now the final wall I'm working on, okay? So since that was not the original violation, I would require additional time to, let me get to that too.
It looks good. You're doing a good job.
Actually, I had a lot better plan for this property in 2003, but it happened to be, city decided not to devalue the area so the investor could buy it cheap and to rebuild it. And that's what's happening in this area for many years. Well, I guess I'm the few person who hang on to their property, and maybe one day I can cash a bit. So here we go.
So what do you want to do?
So here's, I have a question, sir, for you, but I first need to ask Inspector Phillips.
Can I turn this on, please?
No, can I finish?
Yes, please.
Thank you. When you cite a property, do you only cite one face of the building, or do you, when you cite for one, does it hold for all?
The violation was for exterior surfaces, and the code says all buildings and walls. We do not discriminate. It's the entire property.
That's what I thought. I just want to clarify. So the thing is that, and I think the work that you've done looks real nice. I drove by there the other day, and I remembered you had a trailer back there, and you said that's where you kept your tools, right? So.
Yeah, I moved the trailer.
Okay.
Even though there was a tag on it.
And so it looks real nice, but it's not completed. It's not, all of it hasn't been addressed. And you're right, you're working in it, but it's not finished.
That's correct, okay, with all my respects. Original violation was a 5-day violation. Obviously, Ms. Phillips didn't know at that time, okay, the more, as I'm working on it, the more property being exposed, because this property been ignored for past 50 years. Okay, the area devalue for last 50 years. So now is the time to, as the area is changing, more investor coming down, like every time Miss Julie write a violation, I got a phone call from California, they want to buy on cash. Okay, so obviously this property value is a lot more worth than it is if I can clean up. Okay. And I would love to clean up.
But I bet you if we went and found the video from the meeting when you were here and we discussed all this.
Yes.
We said, now if you need more time, remain in contact with Ms. Phillips, keep informed, they'll work with you.
Yes, I did to reach out to Ms. Phillips.
So when you needed more time, you should have called her and said, hey, I got cash buyer, but I need more time. And then she would have understood.
I did, and Ms. Phillips refused to see me.
Well,
waiting for me to see you for you to tell her, send her an email. What? It works.
I didn't have email contact. I ended up going to Mr. Dahl, because I know personally Mr. Dahl, and I explained to him to, I said, give me some time, maybe Ms. Phillips could return my call, talk to me, let me know what exactly she wants me to do. But it happened to be, I don't know, maybe we started on the wrong foot to very begin with, okay? I'd rather Ms.
How
Phillips,
that could happen.
okay, Ms. Phillips would tell me, hey, Roy, fix this, I will expect you that, are you working on it? And have a little bit of communication, and I could get to that point faster.
Okay, I'm done, thank you.
The attorney.
Mr. Roy?
Yes, sir.
You received a copy of the board's order from January, right?
Which one? The new copy, yes.
In the order, it says, exterior surfaces, replace all rotten wood and pressure wash and paint the structure, so the surface is free of peeling and declining paint. You see that?
Not an original one, though.
Order from January 30th. It's the one that you got, we have a.
Okay. And how many days that was a violation?
Well, this is what the board's order said from January 30th.
Okay.
That's what the board ordered. Is that unclear to you?
But there's no rotten wood on that thing anymore. Okay? All that is a pressure wash the back. What you see in the older marks of it, the paint difficulty is a pressure wash. Okay? I need to have a 20-plus foot ladder to paint top of that and paint those windows. There's no peeling paint on the back frame. It need to be painted the same gray paint. Okay? Original violation was the mildew, right? And peeling paint.
Is peeling
And the front.
and declining?
Pardon?
Is the paint peeling and declining? You'll agree with me on that?
Was peeling, not anymore. I pressure washed
Right
that.
now,
It's a pressure washed.
the paint isn't peeling or declining?
It's not peeling, it's a pressure wash where they change the coloration of the surface.
The paint's declining?
Pardon?
It needs to be repainted?
I would need to repaint the back wall, that two pieces right there.
And you didn't repaint it?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Mr. Roy, you're still not in compliance, so we're gonna move on.
Well, I need extra time to do that. Project is a lot bigger than what originally, even Ms. Phillips expected, okay, and what I was time given to. But I'm fixing my entire building, I need additional time.
Go ahead.
All right, I'll make a motion. Affidavit of noncompliance. I move to accept the affidavit of noncompliance and issue an order that states if fines and fees remain unpaid 3 months after such lien is filed, the city is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion
3
carries.
months.
Pardon?
3 months.
3 months, thank you, I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
You have a blessed day.
Get it done, man. It looks good.
Thank you.
Where does he get 3 months?
Well,
Well,
yeah,
well,
he
3
didn't-
months.
He thinks
3
you're
months.
getting him that to do the building.
No,
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 no, no,
no.
no. You need to come back
sir.
here.
Maybe I missed.
We didn't vote on 3 months.
No, no, you can't say that.
An affidavit of non-compliance,
You need to pay your fine in 3 months.
which accepts the fine for all the days that
That's what I meant, yeah, 3 months.
Yeah, but he thought he was gonna pay
You
the
gave
bill.
him 3 months to come back. No.
you've made a motion and you voted on an affidavit of non-compliance.
Right, he's not, the problem is when Mr. Roy walked away, okay, Wayne said, you got 3 months. And I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
You were found in non-compliance, you have 3 months to pay your fine, okay? Now, you also have your work to do. My suggestion to you is, get this done, be in contact with Ms. Phillips, make an appeal, and then you come back to the board again. But get it done.
I will, thank you.
Okay,
You can come before this board after you've come in compliance.
After you've
And
come in
ask them to
compliance.
reduce the fine.
yes.
But you have to have your affidavit of compliance.
Right.
So once you do that, you need to contact the city so that you can come back before the board. Okay? That's what you gotta do.
You understand?
The quicker you come in compliance, you're out of compliance. You gotta get
Okay,
back in.
Okay, here we go.
The quicker you get the work done, you'll be back in
I
compliance.
perfectly understand, okay,
And
what,
then you
what,
can come back
what that
before
is
the board.
now, okay, but my position is, okay, originally, Mr. Phillips had one part where the paper was peeling off, okay, the original picture showed, these pictures are new.
gonna be-
I took care of all that area, which is the 3 wall of the building, I pressure washed that side, okay, and I'm getting ready to paint. If the Miss Phillips would when she sent me a second notice non-compliance, okay? And I personally went to her office to talk to her and apologize to her personally in case I said something, we started on the wrong foot. But Ms. Phillips said she doesn't like to see me. So at that time, I even approached Mike Dow. And I started meeting with him, and I said, listen, please tell her, talk to me, let me know what exactly she expects from this building.
Okay, Mr. Roy, you understand?
Attitude is everything.
Well, those arguments you just made, you can make those to the board once you come in compliance if you're asking them for a reduction in fund. That's when you make those arguments.
Let her know when it's done, and then you be advised what your next steps are so you can work about your fine. Just get it done. You can make all the arguments about all that stuff, doesn't matter. You're not in compliance. It's visual.
Okay.
Thank you.
Case number 111-17. Consider the request by respondent Abraham Carrera at 1445 South Missouri Avenue. Is he here, or the applicant here?
Actually, I'll be presenting that, ma'am. Just this morning, that lien reduction has fostered into a stipulation agreement.
Okay.
So we just haven't had time, I'll just clarify that. So the agreement that's been reached between the city, Mr. Groverall, and prospective buyer of the property is that Mr. Groverall will sell the property by June 30th. The full compliance will be met by July 31st. And really the only violation that's left on the property is that there's an abandoned building, and the buyer has agreed to either demolish that building or occupy it, turn it on. It's not an unsafe structure by any means.
Okay.
And then they will pay the city $10,000. If any of those conditions are not met, the stipulation says that the lien will revert back to its full amount, which is approximately $74,000.
Okay, thank you.
So how did the city get to $10,000 from the city's position at the last meeting of half, which would have been, let's say, $35,000 for this company?
After consultation with his attorney, understanding Mr. Globul's financial position, it seemed in the best interest for everyone to get that far down. Not necessarily, I do not necessarily mean to hurt anyone. I certainly mean to drive a message home, and I think $10,000 does that.
Okay. Okay. Anything with the next case as far as stipulation goes?
With that one, 6-1?
No.
You need to make a motion to approve what Mike is.
Well, we gotta vote on 6-1 first.
Yeah, you gotta.
Mike, what was the total again?
There's a lot of stipulations in that. Go ahead.
Approval of the stipulation based on the things that he just said.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yes.
I make a motion regarding case 111-17, that the board approve the stipulation agreement reached between the city of Clearwater and Ibrahim Grobel.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, we're moving on.
This one.
That one's gone.
We're on 167-17. Is there any stipulation pending on that one?
I do not have one for 6-2, but Mr. Hassan is here.
Oh.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Are you enjoying these meetings? You seem to attend a lot of them.
I was gonna say, you guys are getting sick of seeing me. I'm here today to ask, I came a few months ago and we had issues after the hurricane with our property at 1105 Court Street, Roadrunner Food Store. And we had issues inside and out, so we took care of everything inside, tried to wait for the insurance company to help us out. They didn't. I'm sorry.
Identify yourself.
Oh, sorry, Asim Hassan. Okay. So, we had issues at the end just with the signage. And we entered into a stipulation with Mr. Fuino that at that time I was under the impression that all we had to do, the sign was fine on the wall, and we just had to paint the pole. we've, gone through this, I'm going through it again, just quick. After that, I found out that, no, you don't just need to paint the pole, now the sign has to come into compliance because it was not conforming, but it was since the 90s, so they had let it go. So then we brought somebody, the same guy that did the big sign, we took the big sign down, put a smaller sign that would conform to the right size, but he didn't pull a permit. So we tried to get him to pull a permit, the guy disappeared, and then when I came last month, Mr. Knight had come out there, and now what we did, we just took the sign off completely, painted the building so that we can finish with everything and hopefully move on. And once, if you guys approve everything for us, then we'll apply for a sign and go from there. That's where
City,
we're at.
what's your recommendation?
I'm sorry. I would just say that we do not support a reduction to administrative costs in this case for a couple of reasons, but most importantly is because we already had a previous stipulation that was agreed to, that we reduced down to administrative costs. That was approved in the October hearing. It gave until December 31st to comply with. When that compliance date was not met, the Codes Division and myself agreed to extend it. When that compliance date was not met, that stipulation became null and void. So, in setting a precedent here, I would be very hesitant to reduce something down to something I had already agreed to when an agreement became null and void because of non-compliance on that measure.
So what was the administrative cost at this point?
Total administrative costs are $2,223.20.
How much?
$2,223.20.
20 cents, okay, thank you. And what is the fine aspect?
Hold on one
Don't
second.
have to
It's 100 and, is it 103?
Hold on, no.
It's more.
Three what?
Oh, no, it's more. 153. 133,500. $133,500.
Could you say that one more time, please?
$133,500.
Plus administration fee.
No, that's inclusive of administrative costs.
And the city doesn't recommend a reduction.
No, it's going to be.
Well,
Not down to administrative.
not to administrative costs.
Okay.
It's administrative costs plus
Okay.
what the city is recommending.
The city's just not taking a position based on the fact that the last agreement wasn't met. So it's up to the board's discretion to decide if you want to reduce it and what amount to reduce it to.
Is there a staff recommendation as to the amount?
Well, I mean, keeping in line with what we've done over the last few meetings in terms of 25%, 30%, which would probably put them in line with what we had offered Mr. Eaglem. I think we would be okay with the reduction, a 75% reduction of whatever the $133,000 is.
Okay,
Get the calculator out.
I'd like to ask for a few minutes here to figure something out.
Excuse me, is it okay if I just add a little bit to that?
I wouldn't.
$33,375.
33,000.
So, speaking out loud in respect of the Sunshine Law, we gave Missouri Avenue a 1/7 reduction.
I'm sorry, sir.
We gave Missouri Avenue 1/7 reduction. Is what it was. It was 70,000, they got 10, 1/7, okay? And you talk about a recalcitrant, uncooperative individual, and that's what he got. To my knowledge, every time this gentleman has been here, he has worked with Inspector Knight. There was confusion, I understand that, okay? And they didn't meet the lines that were there. But 1/7 reduction for him would be $19,000, which is, I think, excessive, given the cooperation that, in the spirit that he has worked with the city. So if anything, he shouldn't pay anything more than what other people have paid who have been uncooperative, because that doesn't send the right signal. Cooperate and you pay more?
You don't have to convince the city. It's whatever you all
I
decide as a
understand, so
board.
I'm addressing the
Make a
board,
board.
because of the
Yeah.
sunshine law, we have to speak loudly.
Sure, it's
Okay.
whatever you all feel
I
is
like what you're
appropriate.
saying.
All right,
And so what would you recommend?
make a motion.
$5,000 is what
Oh,
I.
no, no.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, and I appreciate, thank you so much.
Okay.
Is it okay if I just add a
No,
little?
you can.
Yeah, ask
Be
ask the
careful.
chairman.
Oh, I'm sorry, is it okay?
You have to ask her.
No, yeah, and sorry, I'm not, but Mr. Fuino, and maybe you forgot, I know you got a lot of things going on, but when I came to that very first meeting when we entered into the agreement, before coming here, I spoke to Mr. Knight, and I was under the impression that the sign was fine, everything is good, and we just had to paint the pole. So when I left here, and we said that the stipulation, please go ahead and send it, then I'll sign it and I'll pay, and everything was fine, I was under the impression that we're just gonna paint the pole and pay the administration fee of $2,100. Then when I got the paperwork and the email, that's when I called you and I called Mr. Knight and I said, wait a second, now it's gone more than just paint the pole and pay the fine. So I wasn't pushing my time. Once I found that out, that's when I called you and thank you. You gave me extra time. You said, I'm gonna give you extra time since there was a confusion about just painting and now all of a sudden we have to take down that big sign that we paid for and put up a smaller sign. And that's what created a lot of the extra time. So, I'm sorry, so that stipulation agreement that I thought we had the right thing, but when I got the email, I realized it wasn't what I thought it was, and I called right away. So I'm trying to cooperate, and I appreciate anything, any help to you guys. And thank you, Mr. Press, thank you all.
I'll throw my 2 cents in if I may.
Go right ahead.
Ma'am, I agree a lot with what he just said. You know, we're a board here, we do have compassion. We've seen some people come in here and they're like a sand spur. You know, it doesn't go away, and the more they talk, the more it hurts. And I like what he said. You know, with the city's, okay, we brought that down to 1.7. I like what he's saying. You know, you've come before us, you've been honest, in my opinion, you never gave us any grief. So me personally, I'm in favor with what he says. I guess as a board, we'll have to work the numbers. Well, that's where I stand.
I live down the street from your store and I see the progress you've been making.
Well, you've sold that now, haven't you? Or
The
you
property,
about to sell it?
we're trying to.
Yeah,
So I say no more than that, and
133,000.
No more than what,
5,000.
Plus
Because I understand what the
5,000
city is
plus
saying too.
No,
administrative.
5,000 total?
Total, yeah.
If it's $5,000, we'd be fine with that.
Okay.
Okay, let's
Good,
do
do
it.
it.
And now, Mr. Hassam, is that something that you're able to pay, is that in terms of from the sale? Are you able to pay $5,000 to resolve this?
In all honesty, I thought it was around $2,100 last time. I thought it might go up to $2,500, $2,600 because I know you had to send the inspector back out again. So I thought it would go up maybe another $400 or $500. I really wasn't prepared for $5.
Well,
We are.
I got 2,223.20. That's administrative cost. Not 21.
Well, what would you do?
I think
3,000?
5,000 is fair.
Or we do 3,000 total and be done with it?
Let's split the
But
difference.
there needs to be some,
Yeah.
because I understand, the city also entered into giving extensions in good faith, thinking this stuff was gonna happen, and then when it didn't, that starts weakening their position in the stipulation agreement. That's the purpose of a stipulation agreement, is to solve the problem. So I don't think we should undermine
I think
that.
5,000 is fair. Want to make a motion, Bob?
I'm going to, okay. I move to enter order reduce the amount of the lien to $5,000 inclusive, including administrative costs payable within 60 days, or the lien will revert to its original amount.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Who said nay?
Mr. Nager.
Okay.
Could I just ask for clarification?
It passes.
You said including, but 5,000 is the total.
Total.
Right, that includes the administrative costs. So
Right, okay.
the administrative costs plus roughly
inclusive.
$2,700 on top of it.
I stand with my aye.
Okay, one abstention. Motion passes.
Yes.
Thank you.
So thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks for your time.
Okay, this you just have to say,
Which one we have?
the stipulation.
6.3.
You just have to say this,
Yeah.
that we accept it, and then the next
Okay,
page.
6.3, case 127-18 and 128-18. I make a motion that we approve the stipulation agreement for respondent David J. Gangelhoff at 400 North Garden Avenue.
You have a second?
Mike, yeah.
Are you here for that, sir?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, I
But,
apologize.
Michael's going to make the presentation, just for the record. My name is Marshall Fry, F-R-Y, and I'm the attorney for Success Business. Yeah, Marshall Fry, F-R-Y.
To clarify, Success Business is the purchaser of these properties. If the board remembers, this came up
Yes.
as a joint stipulation agreement. As you will see, what Mr. Fry, myself, and the two violators have done is we've split the agreements into two to kind of comport with some of the guidance that the board gave at the last
The
hearing.
safety violations, yeah.
For this Gangelhoff property, which is 400 North Garden, the terms that have been reached are that the property will be sold by June 30th, which is in 2 months. The full compliance, including demolition of the unsafe structure, will be achieved by July 31st, which is a month after closing and 3 months from today. And that violator will pay $2,500, which is a little bit over the administrative cost in this case, and 10% of that total number that we had agreed to between the three parties.
I think
Is this
the month
part of
is
it?
good, because they gotta get a permit and all that, that makes sense. That was my issue.
No. No, it's a different case.
Okay.
So the city
What parties are?
came to terms that this will be sold by June 30th, and the buyer will pay $2,500. Or, am I hearing?
Actually, the way it works out is assuming the closing takes place and the property is sold,
By
the
June.
buyer will be the one paying the $2,500.
And that includes the demolition and,
The buyer is funding the demolition and the cleanup costs for the property.
right, okay.
And actually, you know what, I did speak a little out of turn, that $2,500 it's coupled with the next case, which is on the Teetsy property.
I saw that, that's a separate case.
It's a set, we've split the two for the purposes of the agreements. There is a total between the two in the stipulations of $25,000. The buyer is paying $10,000 of that. The seller is paying $15,000 of that. I wanted to make sure, you know, there was no confusion.
So we're doing one case at a time.
Correct.
Oh, okay. And just for the record on this one, it's, be sold by June 30th.
Correct.
And $2,500 demolition and costs to be paid by the buyer.
The buyer is paying for the demolition. The buyer's taking care of the demolition
Okay.
outside of the city. It's
I
going
got
to
you.
go.
I'm clear on that.
Okay.
Demoed by July 31st?
I'm sorry?
Was it to be?
Yeah, complete compliance, including.
Complete compliance by July 31st.
By July 31st.
Okay.
Yeah.
Make a motion?
Yes.
I move that the stipulation agreement reached by the city and David J. Gangelhoff be approved.
Is there a second?
Are you gonna put the terms in there?
No.
No, I'll second that.
All in
No,
favor?
we don't have to put the terms in.
I guess.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
No.
Opposed?
I'm
You're opposing that?
I didn't oppose it.
I'm an aye.
an aye.
I said aye.
We're all uniform. Okay.
Is everyone an aye?
She said nay.
Nay? Are you a nay?
I know, I'm an aye.
Nobody said
Nobody
nay.
said nay.
No one said nay.
Is there any,
Madam Chair, may I suggest that you recall the vote?
It passed.
all right,
Motion carried. Okay.
Slow down.
Okay.
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 we're good?
Cases 129-18, 130-18, 131-18, 132-18, and 133-18. TC LLC. It's a stipulation. You want to approve, do an order?
I'll present
And what's
that.
the
You gonna
arrangement
present it?
there?
So the terms are essentially the same, except that in this case, the properties are set to be closed by April 30th.
That's correct.
But they're still going to have full compliance by the July 31st date. And the reduced fine will be $22,500. So essentially, you will see full compliance on that entire parcel lot by July 31st.
Yeah. Well, that beats the fall that we were looking at. It was September, I think. Okay.
Do I hear a motion?
I move that the board approve the stipulation reached between the city and respondent TSE LLC at 314 North Garden and 405 North Fort Harrison Avenue.
Second.
Interesting.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
So we just had tsetse flies now.
That's carried.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we have nuisance abatements.
Board, if I may, I'm sorry, when you're finished here, I would assume that the gentleman from 901 North Fort Harrison must have been absent when you called his name for the unfinished business and affidavits of non-compliance. I knew everyone was here to speak to these cases, but he is here now and still sitting in the audience if you wanted to address him.
That was unfinished business?
Yes.
What was the case
Case
number?
number
5.2.
5.2.
5.2, thank you.
Yeah, 901 North Harrison.
If I may approach, real quick, who is the code enforcement officer assigned to these cases? So you are terrific. I'll grab your card and if I can. Thank you.
Okay, we're at 5.2,
We're back to 5.2, yes.
right? Is there someone to speak to that?
Sir, come forward. Well, you went out with your cell phone, if you remember.
Might have spoke up.
If somebody said 901 Fort Harrison, I would have heard.
Your cell phone was ringing, you had to leave. You remember that?
It's
Your
okay.
cell phone was ringing and you had to leave?
No, that was like 20 minutes before.
Well, it happened, sorry.
I'm glad his rang too. That made me feel better.
3 times.
Can you put a cell phone picture?
Give it a shot.
Would you identify yourself for the record?
My name is Renee Ray. Do you have the spelling?
Yes, we do.
I believe I lost mine.
Is this an abandoned building?
Yeah.
Yes. Mhm.
Go ahead.
What's supposed to happen?
No, leave it where it is, it's coming on.
I have to lower this.
There you go.
There you go. What is it?
I got it. I got it. It's okay. No.
You need
I
to
got
turn it around.
You just push it up a little bit and turn.
Sideways or something?
Turn your cell phone around. That's upside down, the other way. Do a 180, there you go.
And then
The other
push it,
upside down?
and then,
That's it, you got it.
there you go.
Okay,
What the
thank
heck
you.
is that?
It's a door.
This is a nice place. This has been my next door neighbor for the last 20 years. It's been vacant for the last 20 years.
Huh.
This is what it looks like. Well, looked like. Isn't that beautiful?
Where is this at?
I'm trying to sell a house, and somebody says, wow, what a nice place to live next to. Fortunately, last week, that place was leveled after 20 years. Something seems to have changed, folks. I've owned my property over 20 years. The only thing I ever got was my grass got a little too tall. I want to echo that fella who spoke and said, I can never specifically understand what is to be done. This is boilerplate, general statements, and this is not really complaining as much as an opportunity for improvement. In the day of cell phone cameras and email, a picture that you can even write on, like, fix this. Use language that deviates from boilerplate, like the paint on the fascia on the left side is peeling. You need to scrape it and repaint it. I even met a gentleman out there. We spent 30 minutes walking around. I had a pad to make a list. By the time I left, there was one thing on the list. He couldn't tell me. He said, that board needs to be painted. Well, it's pressure treated and had just been replaced. You don't paint pressure treated until it dries. So anyway, this is something very different. And I'd like to know, am I allowed to ask if an individual is throwing me under the bus? Do they keep calling and complaining? Is that somebody, you know, who might have a beef? Say, you know, I'm going to complain about this guy for every single code violation? Is that, can you tell me if that is?
I think you need to argue to the board.
Can the person tell me if that's true or not?
Is this your property that you're showing us a picture of?
Yeah, that's my neighbor.
Okay, so what does that have to do with you not being in compliance?
You don't know?
No, you tell me.
How would we know?
I lived next to that for 20 years, and I'm getting cited for palm tree fronds that are brown.
Do you have a picture of those?
Yeah, it's all done. All the work is done.
I mean, you have pictures of your neighbors, do you have pictures of your,
Mm-hmm.
okay? That's what I like to see of your neighbors.
Well, I'm kind of trying to say something has changed.
Okay,
and
sir.
I don't understand what it
Okay,
is.
here's my confusion. We're talking about an abandoned building. That's what you've been cited for, having an abandoned building.
Is that the
Yes.
reason now?
Lord, if I may, with all due respect, sir, but the home he's talking about, Greg Dixon has a case on. I don't have anything for him for palm fronds. What I brought before the board was an abandoned building that have had the utilities shut off for 2016 and the exterior surfaces of the building.
Right.
I think what he's speaking to is a case that Greg has that will come before you next month, not today.
Okay.
Okay, so we're here about.
All the same
different
property.
case.
But it's a
Okay,
different
but
case.
we only can address the case that's in front of us.
I understand.
Okay.
Okay, let's do that then.
Please.
To enunciate, Ms. Johnson, may I ask the individual just a couple questions about the abandoned building issue? Sir, have you turned the utilities on at this property? Are the utilities on?
You have somebody, one of my workers actually wants to move in, so we're gonna turn the water and electric on this week. He's supposed to come in like the first week of next month. He's moving up from
The answer
Sarasota.
is no, there's no utilities on.
Not in the White House, no.
You didn't sell the property, right?
Got offers,
Okay,
but they're
you didn't
unacceptable.
Raise the property, you didn't raise the building.
Raise?
Raise, you know what
Tear it
raise
down to
means?
the ground.
Demolish.
Bulldoze, demolish. Is it still there?
Yeah, it's,
If I drove by, I could see it.
I think that's why I'm here.
So I have a copy of the order that the board issued, and that, I have a green card here from February 4th, 2019. You're Renee Nere? Okay, do you remember receiving this order?
I have
On
it
a
in,
certified copy in February 4th?
I have it in front of me.
Okay, so what's confusing to you about paragraph 2 of the order. It says abandon building, occupy the building and have utilities turned on, sell the property, or raise the building.
No, that one I don't have.
Okay, and none of those
This
conditions.
is the one I have.
Well, is this your signature?
Yes.
Okay, so you did get a copy of this, because this is what was mailed to you.
May I approach?
Huh?
May I approach?
Well,
See the best one from last.
Yes.
Okay.
But I thought this is the checklist.
No, this is what the board's order was, so you can go.
This is the
Yes, sir.
checklist.
I understand, I'm just asking questions.
These are the things.
Sir?
So the
Okay, sir.
question is,
I just need you in front of the microphone, I'm sorry. Thank you.
is that language that we just went through, is that somehow?
You're correct that I received it, and I am saying I did not read that word for word. I went by the checklist.
Okay, so you
My
didn't
bad.
read the order word for word.
That piece of paper, no.
Fair enough. All right, no further questions.
Okay. I understand the buildings, the building is for sale. It's hard to rent a building while you're, a house, while you're trying to sell it. If you put somebody, I'm sure you understand that. You can't get a 6-month lease. No, and who wants to lease month to month when you're about to sell, the property? So I got somebody who will do that. He understands, he may have to get out in 30 days.
Okay, so that brings us to where we are today, okay? And today, it's, the utilities have still not been turned on, and there's nobody living there, and the building is, as pointed out, still standing, so it's abandoned by the city's definitions and codes. So we found that you did not comply in meeting one of those 3 things specified. Tear it down, put somebody in it, put the water on. You haven't done that.
And God call and have the utilities turned on today. I was gonna do it this week for the guy.
Okay, and that's fine. But the thing is, you should have done it before today. So you're not on the same time cycle. So.
Why would you have utilities until somebody's gonna move in?
Well,
Because you, right now, by definition, have an abandoned building.
Utilities.
That's why you're here.
Okay, utilities make it unabandoned?
That is one of the criteria that they measure. Yes, sir. That's the code. If somebody says that you're in somebody tells me that I'm in violation of code, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna find out what that code is.
That's what I did.
Well, it doesn't sound that way because you would have had the water on or somebody living there. Come on. Really, sir?
Excuse me?
It says,
I'm supposed to put somebody in my house?
no, you're
That is
supposed to
not the
make sure that
requirement.
the building is not abandoned.
The board had an order, the order gave you 3 ways to come in compliance. You've already been told a couple times what the 3 ways to come in compliance. You haven't done any of the 3. The board took an action of accepting that the affidavit of non-compliance is acceptable. Therefore, once you come in compliance, you notify the city, and then you can come back before the board and ask for a fine reduction.
Okay, with all due respect, I mistakenly thought that this affidavit of non-compliance respecting this property, 901 North Fort Harrison, with a list of 4 things. I did everything on this list, although I don't know which attractive nuisance we're talking about, other nuisance
Sir,
condition.
you're not here for that, okay? So here's the thing. It's unfortunate that you didn't read your mail, as you said earlier, but that's what you're here about. So we're just wasting
okay.
time here.
You're saying abandoned building only.
that's what the issue is today.
That's what you're here for.
Okay, that's ending within a
And you
week.
need to have had that resolved. I don't know what the date was. Doesn't matter. It was before today, and you haven't. So we find that you have not complied.
You're right, I mean.
And what you can do, sir, is try to work something out with the city. But right now, we made a motion, and I make a motion that we don't change our motion.
You don't have to take any action.
Don't have to take any action. So we're done. We've covered it. No need to be rude or that, but you need to resolve your problem.
Okay.
Okay? And you are right. You do want to get good clarification of what is required on those other things with the other case that's coming up. You should.
3 more.
You know exactly what you need to do.
Thank you very much.
You have a good
Okay.
day.
By the way, did Duke Timon used to be on this board?
Who?
T-Man.
Many years ago,
Heeman?
many years ago.
Duke? Duke?
He's a good friend
Heeman?
of mine.
Yes.
That's
Friend of mine.
John Wayne's too.
Duke Heeman. I didn't remember him.
Well, we saved the last for, best for last.
We have one more gentleman out there, don't we?
Yes, we have one more person.
Almost.
To help.
Where are we?
Now my-
Nuisance.
Nuisance and abatement.
7.2, Mr. Chairman.
All right.
Phillips, this gentleman here that's been waiting, oh, you're not, okay.
7.2.
Okay, nuisance
We're
abatement.
done.
Abatement. I can't talk. Accept the nuisance abatement lien for respondent Sylvia Burt and Errol Kidd at 900 North Betty Lane for lot clearing and issue an order with compliance deadline and authorize the city to mitigate the violation if compliance is not met. Is anyone here to,
Maybe the inspector. Say something.
Yeah, we just need,
Yeah, you just need a motion to accept the nuisance abatement liens.
okay,
Okay, I make a motion that, can we do group?
there's
Mr.
two of
Salter?
them.
Yes,
We
yes,
do
you
group?
can.
Okay,
I want my.
I make a motion in case 67-19 and 68-19 that we accept the nuisance abatement liens in those cases.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay.
All right, we're done.
Now,
We go home?
Adjournment.